Resident Evil is one of the greatest horror franchises in gaming history. From creepy mansions and zombies to chainsaw enemies and terrifying monsters, this series has completely changed survival horror over the years. But today, I'm ranking the best Resident Evil games ever made, from the classics that started it all to the modern remakes that completely redefined the franchise. At number 10, we have Resident Evil 1, the 1996 original that started the entire franchise. Back then, this game completely changed horror gaming with its creepy mansion, fixed camera angles, limited ammo, and zombies that honestly looked terrifying for the time. The atmosphere is still incredible, and you can really feel the tension while exploring every hallway. But compared to modern Resident Evil games, the controls and gameplay have definitely aged, especially for newer players. Still, without this game, none of the others on this list would even exist, and for that alone, it deserves respect. At number 9, we have Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and this game is remembered for one reason above everything else: Nemesis himself. Back in 1999, having this unstoppable monster chase you through the streets of Raccoon City was absolutely terrifying. The game focused more on action compared to earlier Resident Evil titles, but it still kept the survival horror feeling alive with limited resources and constant tension. Jill Valentine was also an amazing protagonist here, and the city itself felt chaotic and alive during the outbreak. At number 8, we have Resident Evil Village, one of the most unique games in the series. This game mixed horror, action, gothic fantasy, and straight-up insanity into one experience. One minute, you're fighting werewolves in a snowy village, and the next minute, you're hiding in one of the scariest sections in Resident Evil history with House Beneviento. Lady Dimitrescu became an instant gaming icon, but the game also had great combat, amazing visuals, and some really creative boss fights. Sometimes the tone feels all over the place, but honestly, that's part of what makes Village so entertaining from beginning to end. At number 7, we have Resident Evil Requiem. Now this game is still newer compared to the others on this list, but it already feels like it has massive potential for the future of Resident Evil. From the atmosphere to the darker tone, it feels like Capcom is trying to evolve the franchise once again while still keeping the horror roots alive. The visuals already look incredible, and fans are expecting this game to become one of the biggest Resident Evil releases in years. It might not have the legendary status of the older games yet.
Would lock down.
At number 6, we have the original Resident Evil 2, and honestly, this game perfected the classic Resident Evil formula. Leon and Claire's storylines were iconic, the Raccoon City Police Department became one of the most memorable locations in gaming, and the atmosphere was incredible. The soundtrack, the puzzles, and the survival horror gameplay all worked perfectly together. Even today, this game still feels special because of how well it balanced horror and storytelling.
2 months ago.
Sure, the controls feel dated now, but this is still one of the most important and influential survival horror games ever created. At number 5, we have the Resident Evil 1 Remake, and many fans still consider this the greatest survival horror game of all time. Capcom took the original Resident Evil and improved literally everything. The mansion looked terrifying, the graphics were insane for the time, and the Crimson Heads made the game even scarier because zombies could come back stronger if you didn't burn them. The atmosphere in this game is absolutely unmatched, and every room feels tense and dangerous. This remake showed the entire gaming industry how remakes should actually be done. At number 4, we have Resident Evil 2 Remake, one of the best modern remakes ever made. This game perfectly combined modern gameplay with classic survival horror. The over-the-shoulder camera made combat feel intense, the police station was incredibly detailed, and Mr. X constantly chasing you around made every second stressful. Leon and Claire were both great protagonists, and the game managed to feel terrifying without losing the fun. At number 3, we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, the game that literally saved the franchise after Resident Evil 6. Capcom switched to first person, focused fully on horror again, and created one of the scariest Resident Evil experiences ever made. The Baker family was disturbing, creepy, and unforgettable, especially Jack Baker constantly hunting you through the house. The atmosphere felt claustrophobic and terrifying the entire time. And now we're down to the top 2. Before we get to number 1, comment your favorite Resident Evil game of all time. And don't forget to like and subscribe because honestly, ranking these games was almost impossible. At number 2, we have the original Resident Evil 4, one of the most influential video games ever made. This game completely changed third-person shooters forever with its over-the-shoulder camera, fast-paced combat, and incredible pacing. Leon Kennedy became one of gaming's coolest protagonists here, and the game somehow balanced horror, action, comedy, and pure chaos perfectly. Almost every chapter introduced something memorable, whether it was the village fight, the chainsaw enemies, or the castle sections. Even today, Resident Evil 4 is still insanely replayable and remains one of the greatest games ever created. But at number 1, the best Resident Evil game according to me, Resident Evil 4 Remake. This game took everything that made the original legendary and somehow made it even better. The combat feels smoother, the horror feels darker, the characters are more emotional, and the visuals are absolutely insane. Leon feels more human, the bosses are terrifying, and every fight feels intense and cinematic. The game perfectly balances survival horror and action without ever becoming boring. For me, this is not just the best Resident Evil game ever made, but one of the greatest gaming experiences of all time. And that was my ranking of the best Resident Evil games ever made. Let me know your favorite Resident Evil game in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming videos.